to interview candidates for the open board position. We're going to let all the candidates know at the beginning. We won't be making our decision. We did say it was going to be made tonight, but we're going to wait till later this week to actually make our decision on who we're going to pick. Okay? Do you have any comments or anything like that? Sure. No? All right. Well, we'll go ahead and just start with the questions. Tell us about yourself.
My name's Scott Grondal. Lived in Snohomish for the last, coming on 20 years here. Actually volunteered here with that guy for a little bit back in 2014. Have a construction company. Done that for the past 20 years. And yeah, that's a little bit of, the highlight of me is I'm married, I have 5 children. We actually just had our 18th anniversary yesterday. Yeah, so a little bit about me.
You volunteered here. How long ago was that?
It was 2013 or 14.
How long were you here?
Maybe a year.
All right. Do you have any follow-up questions?
You mean about that question?
Yeah. I'm going to say that after every question, just in case you have any follow-up questions.
Oh. Now, did you go to high school here?
No, went to high school in Everett, Mariner High School. Married into a Snohomish family, so then we ended up moving over here, my wife and I, and yeah, I've lived here ever since.
What part of the district do you live in?
We just moved into downtown. We're building a house out on Three Lakes Road, so yeah. So actually, I've lived on Phobes Hill for the past 15 years, and then yeah, we're moving to the other side, Dutch Hill area. So yeah.
That's all I have right at the moment, anyway.
Alrighty,
So,
on to question 2. In the educational and career area of your life, what skills or experience do you have that you believe will enhance your potential duties as the commissioner?
Running a business is a huge thing. Just managing money. I know that's a big part of the commissioner job, is dealing with public funds. I'm close to the fire service, and so yeah, I guess that'll be a big help. I think I'm pretty involved in Snohomish. At least I have my fingers in a lot of things in Snohomish. So, yeah, I think that'll be a good thing to lend to being a commissioner.
So how big a business is it? Just a single person or a couple people?
So I have one employee right now, but yeah, I do. I'm a general contractor, so I do home construction, build houses. So yeah.
Follow-up questions on that one?
I don't believe so right at the moment, anyway.
All right, on to the next question. Commissioners are ultimately the financial authority and approved body for fiscal decisions and financial commitments. How would you see your role as a potential commissioner in determining and ensuring responsible use of public money?
Honestly, I think that's a really big draw for me to become a commissioner. Yeah, I am a taxpayer, so therefore making sure that tax funds are actually used appropriately and not squabbled is a big thing I believe in anyway. So then being able to be a part of how stuff is, how funds are dispersed and utilized would be a huge thing for me, and I look forward to being able to possibly do that. Yeah.
It's kind of a tough question. Follow-up questions on that?
I was wondering about, you were talking about you have your own business, you have one employee and so forth like that. So how do you work with budgets and things like that?
Well, every job that I do, every client I take on, we go through a budget with them. And so staying in budget keeps me in business. So, and I feel like in a lot of bureaucracies that tends to be not the deal because it's public funds and there seems to be an unending stream of it. So, but from the private sector, yeah, being within a budget is the only way I stay in business. So, and using a client's funds in the proper way that's been budgeted for is how I complete jobs and get new jobs and get new clients. So, yeah.
Well, I know in the fire district, we don't have a pot that goes on forever.
Right.
So,
No, and I don't mean that. I
Yeah.
guess I mean just in a broader sense of, public spending, it seems,
Sure.
so, yeah.
there's accountability there. and so forth like
Right,
that.
which is super important, yeah.
So, do you keep your own books then?
I have an accountant. I do some of mine, but I have my accountant do most of the stuff, so,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. All right. How did you find out about this position?
It was actually kind of random. I was looking on your guys' website and saw it on there, but it was too late because it had already passed, but I decided to apply anyways, which I was kind of surprised I got an interview, but I thought I would jump at it to try anyway, so yeah. But yeah, so your website.
Okay. Now, we had the chief send out to all the people we were going to talk to some information about the position. There's a commissioner and then some of the WACs, things like that, you know. Were you able to take a look at that?
I glanced over it, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
Well, from what I read, just everything being public, that seems to be the big basis of stuff is public disclosure, and obviously this is a public meeting, so yeah.
Okay. Well, I was more concerned that perhaps somebody with a business or something like that, because we're required to every year disclose what we have and so forth like that, and just coming in like this, we want to make sure that each of the people knew about what they were getting into,
Okay.
and so what that entailed,
Okay.
so that you wouldn't be blindsided somewhere down the line, and
Gotcha.
to know about that. 'Cause,
Gotcha.
It's pretty in-depth, and some people might be a little private and not want to share that with
I gotcha.
whatever
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
file
Right.
is.
Yeah.
That doesn't concern me.
Okay.
It's
yeah.
it's the
That's why I have an
same.
accountant, so I'm not.
Okay.
There's nothing shady going on. So.
No, I don't mean that, but I mean, it's
Oh no, I
your
know. Yeah,
assets
I could
and
see it.
various
Yeah,
things.
I could see.
And if you had been running, you would have gotten all that
Disclosed
stuff
all that.
already,
Yeah,
and
right,
things.
right.
So we want to make sure everybody was aware of that,
Gotcha,
so
yeah.
that wouldn't be something that maybe later on you'd say,
Yeah,
oh, I
figured
wish I would have
for
known that.
public office, I figured that's a pretty
Okay.
big thing, and
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Okay. So, and then there was something in there about being nonpartisan.
Yeah.
What is that? How does that come across?
Well, so I think it's a huge deal for the fire service to remain nonpartisan or apolitical. I think that's a lot of, survey after survey, the fire department's held in high esteem by, doesn't matter who it is, it's held really high, which is partially because it's apolitical, and I think it's important that it stays that way, and that also interests me because I'm definitely not interested in doing a public position that is political. That sounds like a nightmare, so I wouldn't be interested in that anyway. So.
All right. So did you have any questions about any of that material that we sent you?
No.
Okay. Well, we didn't, it wasn't everything.
Yeah,
You
and
know.
well, I figure if I get selected, that I'll probably there'll be some learning, obviously, and I'm sure that you guys will school me in stuff that I need to be.
You'll probably have some phone calls.
I would think so.
To get that squared around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have follow-ups with that.
Okay. What do you foresee anything, with here within the fire district? Do you see any areas of maybe some challenges that the fire district might have in the next few years?
So I guess it probably depends on the financial forecasts of this area and the country. I guess if we go into recession, I think finances is always a thing. With dealing with the tax base. Other than that, not that I could see off the top of my head. No.
As a builder or anything like that, do you see any trends maybe in this, or do you build all over the place, not just?
I try to stay in Snow. I've done it long enough now. I try to stay in Snohomish, so I'm not commuting. But that recession worries me, obviously, as a business owner. But that would be the only thing I could see, next couple of years, that affecting anything in the fire district.
Anything? Have you, for instance, there's been a conversation about merging and things like that. Have you heard anything about like that out there? Or?
I think I had heard something a long time ago about Everett, maybe, but that's just hearsay stuff. So I really don't know the nitty-gritty of any of that stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any follow-up as well. All right. Is there anything else that you wanted to ask? I mean, besides.
Well, I had this whole sheet of stuff.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, we're done with our 6 questions. And,
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, unless you have any questions for us.
No. Do I still have 30 minutes can I just sit here and?
Yeah. Just stare at us for 30 minutes.
No, I don't. So.
I think technically you're down to 15 or 18 or something.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. No, that's it.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you so
Cool.
much for coming out. And
Yeah.
playing.
Thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you again.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, exactly.
Good to see you.
God, I'm bad.
Hey, that's good.
That's Whitney.
I know. Good luck. All right. You guys have a good afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully you don't have to go work again.
No, I'm not.
I brought, just in case anybody doesn't know who I am.
They're the only ones that matter. Thank you.
Picked the warmest day, which I didn't think was very nice at all.
Yeah.
Took a lot of planning to get that.
Right.
A lot of planning.
Could have picked it when it was 73 degrees out and I wasn't sweating with it. Okay.
You gave your set? All right, well, all right.
If you gave me a piece of paper, there must be a reason.
No, not at all. We're just letting everybody know, we had announced that we were going to make our choice tonight. We are going to wait till later this week to actually announce that. So.
Sure.
All right, so we got 6 questions for you this afternoon, and I'll go ahead and just start. Tell us about yourself.
Okay, my name is Roger Varus. I work for the Everett Fire Department and have been since 1996. So I've been there for a bit. I currently hold the role of Division Chief of EMS, so I'm an office guy. And sit on the chair for Snohomish County EMS and the president of the Medic One Foundation. So I have a pretty good understanding of governance boards, the ins and outs. I've sat on both sides of the contract negotiations. But this particular role is a governance role, so I will not get into operations. That's your job, right? I understand the difference. But I live here in Snohomish. We have a house on Flowing Lake that I'm currently building that is winning. The budgetary process has been challenging since it went up a significant amount from when we turned our paperwork. So I'm doing a lot more work than I wanted to. But it's going to be a great house. This is my community. This is where I live, right? I have 2 years left in the Everett Fire Department, and then I intend to continue serving in some role. I'm hoping that this is a role I can continue serving in. So that's my goal. Been married for collectively 31 years, 17 years on the second. You know how that works. I have 3 kids. One's in Alaska. 2 are going to school. None of them are in the house, so it's a pretty quiet house. Was a paramedic for 15 of those years before I went in the office. That's about it, I think.
Where do you live now? In Snohomish?
In Snohomish, on Flowing Lake.
Oh.
We built a house. We built a shop with an apartment above, and now we're building the house that's out on the lake.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
So,
For some reason, when you said that, I heard Lake Rosser. I'm like, so
no,
Lake Rosser's not really in our district.
no, definitely Flowing
So,
Lake.
yeah. All right. All right. Do you have any questions on that?
No, I don't, no, all right. Not for this one, anyway.
Okay. Awesome. In the educational and career area of your life, what skills or experience do you have that you believe will enhance your potential duties as a commissioner?
Okay. For education, I have a Bachelor of Science from Washington State University, happened to be industrial psychology. I was studying engineering and I wanted to be a firefighter and I wasn't leaving without a degree. So I laid them all out and I could take a Bachelor of Science in psychology or a Bachelor of Arts in sociology. I thought psychology looked better, or the science looked better than the arts. But it is a education. Multiple classes to National Fire Academy on incident responses and management and all of the pieces that go into that. I have an application to EFO and have had for the past 2 years. 2 years ago they didn't offer anybody, and last year they only offered it to a select few, and I didn't make it. So I'll put it again this year for National Fire Academy. Most education is small classes that I've taken over the years to help me to do business management, marketing, all of the pieces that go into running a fire department. And I went to Harborview, so I understand.
How long ago was that?
1999. Although we are discussing doing paramedic training in Snohomish County again.
All right, EFO, so the EFO program, why now? You said that you were getting close to retirement. Is the EFO, is that to enhance your possibility of being a fire chief, or?
EFO's got one more year to come through, otherwise I'm going to shelve it.
Yeah.
I just think it's a free education that is fabulous and beyond anything I could find. So I will take it and apply it to whatever my next phase is. Could be a fire chief somewhere. It's not a burning desire to be a fire chief, more than I am, a lower level chief now. I don't need to be the guy in the front. It's never been my push. But I do think that EFO would apply really well to running paramedic training in Snohomish County because it is a really good credential. And so it is a possibility to roll EFO into running paramedic training in Snohomish County.
As you through the college, is that the idea?
No, I would go do EFO
Yeah.
if it comes up,
Yeah.
because I think those skills would benefit me in not necessarily being a fire chief, but keeping my
Yeah.
working with fire departments. EFO
Yeah.
is just an unbelievable education. So,
Yeah, no. Heard it.
but not to be a fire chief. I was trying to make that clear.
Yeah, got it. All right, I understand. Any follow-up questions on that?
Where did you go to high school?
Bothell High School.
Bothell?
Yeah.
Okay, which county is that in, the high school?
My parents live in Snohomish County. The high school is just about 1,000 feet south. It's in King County. The line is right next to Bothell High School. Because that's where they sat as you were coming to school. The King County Sheriff sat right on the line. We knew where it was.
Thank you.
All right. Next question. Commissioners are ultimately the financial authority and approved body for fiscal decisions and financial commitments. How would you see your role as a potential commissioner in determining and ensuring responsible use of the public's money?
Sure. This is a governance board that represents the voters. That's what we're here for. It's not an operations board. It's not a, don't get in the weeds of what isn't there, right? It's financial, fiscal responsibility for the taxpayers. So understand my position would be just that. Representing the taxpayers, make sure they get their money's worth. Make sure that the programs make sense, make sure that funding within the agency makes sense and is above board.
You work with budgets right now?
I work with budgets, yes. The $7.2 million levy and combined levy and GEMT money for the city of Everett. I manage that budget.
For the fire department? Or you said the city of Everett?
It's the city of Everett Fire Department, but the EMS levy, the separate levy goes into a completely separate budget. It goes in our we have 032, which is the fire budget, which comes from city council, and we have 153, which is the levy. And so the levy budget is one that I sit on.
So that has to go before the voters? Is that how
Yeah.
that works?
That levy goes before the voters. GEMT money comes from the federal government, and then we have transport money and Medicare and Medicaid rules and private insurance and all the pieces that fit into billing. Yeah, I sit right there.
All right. I don't have any follow-up questions. Do you have any more follow-up questions on that one?
I don't believe so.
All right.
So how did you hear about the fire commissioner position being open?
I had my paperwork ready to file on this last go around because I was going to run for this position, and I thought I'm not going to run, my first shot out with the guy who's been here for 25 years with a name recognition. I just thought it didn't make sense. But I've been watching. I've been ready to apply for this position, and if this opportunity didn't come up, I was gonna take the next one. So, but I saw this on Facebook. It showed up on the Facebook page. That's where I saw it first. That dirty Facebook.
So you said you were getting ready to run.
I had my paperwork filed to run last year, and then it was like, oh, I'm not going to run a good smoker. That's too big of a bite for my first elected to go against that. I was just doing a risk management strategy. I was just going to wait.
So was any of the material that we sent you about some of the RCWs and all
Yeah.
those kind of things, was that helpful to you?
It was
or
helpful
did
to-
you already?
There were bits and pieces that I wasn't completely clear on, and this cleared it up, but I think I had a pretty good understanding. I thought it was great. right there, right it through. And
We wanted to send that out to everyone because, you know, if you're running, you probably know some of the public disclosure and things like that the other people who just maybe aren't involved or thinking about that might not know about. So that's what we wanted to make sure that everybody who we were going to be interviewing had that and was aware of what could be there, you know.
No, it was very helpful. It was good to go over everything and just confirm what I thought I knew and clear up the things that I wasn't 100% sure on. So it was good. And then I went and followed all the other laws. I clicked on all the links and stayed up too late when I should have been sleeping, reading about laws, which should put you to sleep, and it doesn't.
What does the idea of nonpartisan, what does that mean to you?
Nonpartisan is not tied to a political party. So it's just that. It's just there's no political affiliation whatsoever with this position. You don't have you can have your own personal beliefs on what politics should be, but this position is just not partied. It's unaffiliated.
Nope, I don't have any follow-up.
Anything there? Okay. I was wondering if you see any challenges that are ahead for this fire district in the next few years, and what they might be that as you see them.
Every fire district is going to have some challenges. Finding and maintaining paramedics is going to be high on the list. They're hard to come by. They're expensive. They move around. I think that's big. Budgetary constraints. If you fail a levy, I think you're in a real tough spot. If you pass a levy, I don't think you're in a great spot. Everybody has top to bottom. I don't care the size of your department. The amount of money you have is what you have. And making a stretch is tough. Consolidations are an interesting discussion. Whether this organization should go left, right, center, or nowhere at all. That's a challenge. I don't think it's necessarily a mystery. There's two kinds of problems. There's puzzles and mysteries, right? Puzzles we don't know the answers to, but they're fairly concrete. And some of these are mysteries. I think whether or not you were going to merge with somebody else is more like a puzzle. I just think I don't know the puzzle pieces, right? I'd have to sit down and look at budgets and what that would mean and what it would entail. But I think as far as this organization is concerned, those are the big ones. Having enough money, whether or not you should go with a natural dance partner, which would be Surfer, or the not natural dance party, which would be Everett. I don't know the answer to that. I'm assuming you guys have a lot of strong opinions on it. I don't. That and keeping paramedics, I think, would be your big three. I'd like to see a water rescue program here because it makes me nervous watching people out on Flowing Lake. It looks like water world out there, and I know that nobody's coming to break the surface of the water, and that makes me
Yeah, we have rescue swimmers.
You do?
Yeah, we actually,
Nice.
They made it second due last week or week before that.
Oh,
Lake
fabulous.
Stevens, and they got a grab out there as
Good.
well. So
Yeah, because it's
12-year-old kid.
well needed.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
terrific. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I did not know that. So good work.
Been operational for a month or two?
About 2 months.
Yeah.
I have tourniquets in my jet ski pouch because
Yeah. It's coming.
I'm concerned about the people surfing behind outboard boats.
Yeah.
They terrify me.
Right. Do you have any other follow-up questions?
Well, I was wondering, do you do anything for fun?
I ski in the wintertime as often as I can. I mountain bike in the summer. Play on the jet ski occasionally. But right now I'm building a house. There is no fun. There's work and
They're
other
not fun.
No.
Okay.
A moment might be fun.
When you're done, when it's all done, and
Right.
you're moving
When you
in.
reach a phase and it's like I can cross that off. But no, the fun is left months ago. but it's going to be gorgeous. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Well, cool. Do you have any questions for us?
No, I understand the gist of the program, right? I understand what a commissioner's supposed to do. I'm not sure exactly what you're looking for, but knowing today isn't going to make any real difference.
Yeah.
So you think by the end of the week you'll have an idea?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll have an answer. Hopefully by the end of the week.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's our hope.
I'd really like to serve in this capacity. I think it's I like service jobs. I've done a service job just like all of you for a long time. And I can see that coming to an end or changing drastically for me. I'd like to find a way to continue to serve. And this seems like a really good fit. And I'm hoping for some period of time, right? I'm not hoping to just do 2 years and then just walk away. I'd like to commit to a longer run than that, if owners willing and all of that. But I'm pretty excited about it. So this is my excited face, which
Yeah.
doesn't look like much, I know, but it is for me.
Cool. Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming
That's
out.
it.
No,
Thank
very
you.
much.
Yeah, let me know what else I can do.
Absolutely.
Okay. Didn't even touch your water, still good.
Yeah, well, I can take it with you.
It's warm enough day.
Yeah, why don't you? You might need it.
I might.
Didn't know there was going to be a test.
Yeah.
We didn't either.
The test at the very end. So take it.
All right. Hope it's multiple choice.
Greg, you turn that back on?
Yes,
Okay,
it's all
perfect.
gone.
All right. You mind if we start a little bit early with your?
Perfectly fine.
Awesome. We've been letting everybody know that we initially announced that we were going to make the announcement as who we were going to pick at the end of today, but it's probably going to be towards the end of the week this week. So just letting all the candidates know. So we'll just be asking you 6 questions,
Okay.
and I'll start.
All right.
Tell us about yourself.
All right. Well, my name's David Hotes. I am originally from Virginia. I've lived in various parts of the United States. I've lived in all 4 time zones. I've made a career out of working at universities, advising student organizations. I've worked at Seton Hall University in New Jersey, New Mexico State in Las Cruces for a long time, Tulane in New Orleans, and I've been at University of Washington in Seattle since 2009. I have a wife and 3 kids, aged 24, 10, and 16 months. So I'm 57, by the way, with a 16-month-old. So
I have a 16-month-old too.
do you? Well, there you go.
I'm not 57.
Yeah, yeah, I'm kind of grandfather age having a toddler, so it's very enjoyable. And I wish, though, it would work a little better for weight reduction. So, but this one's a lot harder to carry than it was 10 years ago. Been living here in Snohomish. I live in the French Creek area, just down 171st from the other station, since 2012. So that's my overall background. Would you like any specifics on that?
No. What do you enjoy doing for fun? What that?
Now with the 16-month-old, my fun mainly consists of Pixar movies, most all the time, and anything animated. So
That nap time?
nap time is always welcome when that hits for them. I like working in the yard. Pre-pandemic, I used to like to go to Las Vegas like once a year. But kids and yard, that's how I spend a lot of time.
Awesome.
I don't have a lot of hobbies. But
Awesome. You have any follow-up questions?
No.
On that one? All right. In the educational and career area of your life, what skills or experience do you have that you believe will enhance your potential duties as a commissioner?
Okay. I have a Bachelor of Science in Communications from James Madison University in Virginia. I stayed at James Madison for a Master of Education in counseling and psychology with a specialty in student personnel administration. In other words, for doing college administration and working with students. That is what I've done this past school year. Was my 30th year. Part of that background in advising student organizations is a lot of policy review, policy development, fiscal review, budgeting, and advising is what that comes down to. Because ultimately with student organizations, they make the decisions and you advise. So you get a lot of experience in reviewing things, giving advice on it, which was one of the things that attracted me to this position, though the board obviously has voting authority, was the policy and budget review and oversight and things where some of my skill sets that I've developed over 30 years could come into play on the board. It would seem very applicable to me.
When you're doing some of these various things, are politics ever involved in that?
Politics ever involved?
Yeah.
Not like party politics. I mean, in a university environment, there's always politics of administrative units and stuff and what plays well and what doesn't. It doesn't get into the political stuff, generally speaking. My area may cross with some political things when it comes to, for instance, free speech on campus, free assembly on campus, some of those things, but not usually anything that's ever specific to like party politics, if that's kind of more the root of the question. So I've always considered myself more of a, I don't consider myself affiliated with any party. I'm not a partisan party person. Which I know the board is also supposed to be a nonpartisan, but I also do not consider myself a partisan party person anyway. So it makes it easy.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right. Commissioners are ultimately the final authority and approval body for fiscal decisions and financial commitments. How would you see your role as a potential commissioner in determining and ensuring a responsible use of the public's money?
Excuse me. Well, I think that gets right to the heart of the matter of why public boards exist, is looking at are the levies and the funds collected from the levies and the property taxes and however the distributions, whichever are the sources, are they being applied appropriately? Are the resources there? And also, are the resources there for the job to be done? Is the equipment there? Are the employees well paid so that retention is not a major issue? So that you can maintain the experience and the staffing that's required, and also the simple numbers of staffing that are required. So it is part of the public trust, and I take that very seriously, to look at the finances and make sure that, to the best of my estimation and analysis, that money is being well spent and responsibly spent. So I know what my property tax bill is, which includes the levies and everything. It's an awful lot of money every month, so I would always hope to be sure that it's being well spent.
Yeah. Any follow-up?
No.
Follow-up?
You don't have any either? How did you find out about the open position here?
It popped up in my Facebook feed.
It just popped up in Facebook. Huh?
Yeah, it might have been because I'm in Facebook groups for Snohomish School District, for the Dutch Hill Parents Group, and for the Dutch Hill PTA. So it may have been that somebody posted it in one of those that made it appear in my Facebook feed. But that's where I initially saw it. Did you guys
What
not
was
post
your
it? Did you
reaction?
guys not post it there?
When you-
Yeah, well, that's where I saw it.
When you saw it, what did you think?
Well, I thought, let me take a look and see what this is, because I knew it didn't appear to be part of an election cycle. I'm used to all the political signs and everything else, and I was like, well, that's different. You know, I thought all of these were elected offices. And then, of course, I read that it ultimately is an elected office, and because of the vacancy of the gentleman that moved out of state. So it interested me as something local, something that I thought that I had the skill set that would be applicable to it and could contribute to the community. As I said in my letter of interest, that's always been an area of interest to me. I've been involved with the Dutch Hill PTA. I've been involved with the school district's COVID committee, with the school district's facilities committee, which ultimately, depending on if you live here locally, you know that bond failed 2 years ago. Unfortunately, it was an awfully big ask, and the voters did not go for that one. Also did a youth soccer coach for a year here locally, so I've been on the board of United Way when I lived in Las Cruces, New Mexico. So it seemed like a good opportunity to be involved, and one to be very open and honest, that because it's a limited time period and then would have to run in 23 to fill the vacancy, it gave an opportunity to see how it works, see how I like it, if my skill set does apply well, which I think it does, because it's not making that 6-year commitment right up front. And maybe that's a strike against me in a way. I don't know, it depends on your thought on that, but I thought that was a good opportunity to see if it's a good fit, and if not, then leave that to somebody else that would rather that might be a better fit.
Was the information that we sent out to you helpful? Mm-hmm. Because normally if you're going to run for office, you get all that stuff, right off the bat, and This is something that just kind of came out of the blue, as you said.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to make sure everybody had some general knowledge of what we were.
Yeah, I thought the documentation was fine. It explained everything. Chief Waller the other day sent me some additional documentation that I told my wife, I was like, we'll have to do a financial disclosure, if I were to get this position. She goes, you mean I'll have to do your financial disclosure, She does the yearly taxes. I do all the monthly bills and bank accounts, so that's how we divide it. She's like, I'll bet you don't even know where our taxes are. And I'm like, I have an idea,
Well, we just wanted to make sure that the people weren't blindsided because, it's public records, and
Mm-hmm.
you have to list all the various things that you're involved financially and property and all those kind of things. And so.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't look at the financial disclosure documentation, but I'm certainly aware of public records requests with my job at the university. In fact, I received one today. I received public records requests that I have to fill, and save a million emails and other documents, several times a year. So.
Okay. And so you sort of answered the thing before about nonpartisan,
Mm-hmm.
The position.
Yeah. Well, I was actually kind of baffled in a way. It's like, I don't really know how partisan politics would play into a board like this anyway, but.
Well, it's not supposed to, I don't.
It's not supposed to, but I was just kind of like, how could it even play into? But. And to elaborate a little more on, I said this in my letter of interest. One of the things that interested me was also because my wife and I both had EMT transports in the past few years. Mine was in fall of 19 and hers was in summer of 20 while she was pregnant. So, that's not exactly the way you want to meet the personnel from the department is, having to be put on a stretcher because you might be having a heart attack and things like that. But, it was a good experience meeting them and then the quality service they provided. So, and one of the things that I had read in looking at this was that, correct me if I'm wrong, but actually 80% of the calls for service are more EMT related rather than fire related. And it's like, well, my 2 primary interactions have been EMT related. I hope to not need a fire call at my house. We do get burn permits at times, but and I have one of the little signs out on the reflective signs out on my mailbox post.
That's good.
Do you foresee any challenges in the fire district here in the next couple of years? Anything that maybe jumps right out at you?
Well, I read all of the minutes since January of 21. It didn't seem fruitful to go back, but so far. But so the RFA and all of those discussions, which were quite thoroughly documented, and then it kind of last June or July kind of just come to an end there, and it's kind of in a hold. So obviously that's a pertinent issue on the radar. At least from what I gathered in the minutes, no decision has ever yet been made on that. So that's something that the board and the department will be still needing to address, I take it, in the coming year in some form or fashion. And then I saw that the current levy expires in 22, is that right?
End of 23.
End of 23, but the decisions will have to be made about the next levy proposal.
Yeah, right.
And so that would be one that I would think that within this next year would be part of the business of the commission also.
You have anything else, sir?
Nope, I don't have any follow-ups.
Maybe, gentlemen?
Yeah.
I didn't know if you could ask questions.
We're here to facilitate. This is their decision.
Yeah, he might have some questions for us.
Oh, yeah. Do you have any questions for us as a board?
In your experience on the board, what would you say was the biggest surprise to you? Something you never expected as being part of the board? From an activity standpoint, a responsibility standpoint, anything really?
Well, I had no fire experience coming into this, and so I sat in on a few meetings, sort of like reading the minutes, something like that. And one of the things that surprised me most was there's no standard fire hydrants in the United States.
I remember as a kid being fascinated in my hometown when the fire department started color coding the hydrants by pressure. And so there were different color hydrants all over town.
Yeah, I'd say just the role itself is I'd say just learning the ins and outs of budgets and things like that was like probably the most, and just the constant amount of stuff that you learned as well as you go. It's kind of learn on the job. It's not like they send you away and you come back and you know everything. Yeah. So constantly learning as things arise. So
very good.
Well, cool. Well, thank you so much for coming out today. And
certainly. Well, thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to the outcome, whatever it may be. So I know you'll find the best person for the position.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Y'all take care now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, guys.
Cheers.
Hold on,
See
Grace.
you at a show closer today. My name's Merritt.
Yes, sir. Alrighty, and that will be the end of the special meeting. We do not have any more discussions or anything to talk about or any decisions to be made. So that will be closing it at 5:36.